When I was 12, my most prized possession was my baseball card collection. I spent hours poring over those cards, memorizing the statistics on the back of them and looking up their worth in baseball card magazines. I was very careful with them. I kept them in a safe place. I was careful with who would touch them or even see them. I loved those cards. They were my treasure. There was one card, though, that I didn't yet have, one card that wasn't a part of my collection. It was a 1989 Upper Deck Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card. I loved that card. I'd never seen it, only seen a picture of it in a magazine, but I had to have it. From time to time, I would get together with my neighbor, Nathan, to trade baseball cards. Nathan was older than me, 15 or 16. He was in high school, rode a four-wheeler, worked with livestock. To me, he was the coolest guy on the planet. To boot, he had this incredible baseball card collection. He kept his in these 3-ring binders in protective sleeves. And one day as I was flipping through his collection, I saw the card, my card. I said to him, "You have the 1989 Upper Deck Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card?" He said, "Yeah, it's my best card." And I said, "Of course it's your best card. It's the best card in the whole wide world." I wasn't all that cool. I offered him a trade. That's what we did in those days. I put all of my favorite cards on the trading block for that one card, and Nathan refused. You see, he knew and I knew that I could put all of my cards out there and it wouldn't equal the value of that one card, so no trade. I asked my parents for the card for Christmas that year, but I understood. It wasn't something you could just go down to the store and pick up. On Christmas Eve night, my family had gathered at our house to exchange gifts, and we were inside, warm, playing games, just being a family together, when I heard the familiar sound of a four-wheeler come up the driveway. I ran out to welcome Nathan, but he didn't come inside. He just stood there with this strange look on his face. So I walked out to him and he handed me this white envelope. I expected to find a Christmas card, I guess, but Nathan and I weren't in the custom of exchanging Christmas cards, so I opened it up and I found a different card. 1989 Upper Deck Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card. I could not believe it. From the look on Nathan's face, he couldn't believe it either, and I hugged him. Nathan rode a four-wheeler and worked with livestock. We didn't hug all that much, and so he just stood there with his arms outstretched, and I hugged him with all I had. You know, we never talked about that again. We didn't know how, but I'll never forget how Nathan gave his treasure away. Jesus says there's a reward found when we give away what is valuable to us. Now sure, there's a reward in holding on to things of value. There's a benefit to possessing treasure, but he says there's a different reward, a deeper reward, when we give our treasure away. He's not talking about the reward found when we get recognized for doing something good or for giving something to someone or something. We do that with good intentions and we get the affirmation that comes with recognition, but Jesus is talking again about something different. He makes a strange statement. He says, what would happen if we gave with our right hand and our left hand didn't even know what we were doing? He's talking about what happens when we give because of the love that God has given to us. Part of the reward, I think, is getting to join in on the things of God. God is doing great things and He invites us to be a part of it. We don't get our name up in lights, but it seems our egos are okay because we're joining in the work of God. It's a very unique reward that we get to be a part of. In the Sermon on the Mount, it's interesting. Jesus links giving with spending time with God. He talks about giving away our treasure to the poor, and then he talks about prayer. I think the connection is deliberate. Jesus is saying for the type of giving that we're talking about, you have to be deeply connected to this extravagant God. A God who gave to us when we desperately needed something. A God who is extravagant when there was no trade available and He gave us His Son. It's a connection with that kind of God that leads us to giving away our treasure, to finding ourselves saying, I can't believe I'm doing this. Somehow, even at 15, Nathan realized the power of giving away. I'm sure he wouldn't have been able to articulate it, but something in him knew that the reward of giving away that Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card would be more than holding on to it. And so I wonder, what are we holding on to? What is it that God is calling us to give away? For some of us, it may be easy, but for many of us, I think God is asking us to give our treasure away.